343 is incompetent and they should be fired. This is the most common thing people say about Halo Infinite and how poorly it was handled. And this is not wrong, alright? 343 is the team that developed Halo Infinite and the game is lacking. That's just a fact. But the solution is not to fire 343 or to hand Halo off to another developer, because it isn't the core issue. This ties back to Microsoft and their lack of care for first-party titles. Perfect Dark, the initiative, is apparently losing developers rapidly. Rare is still making some random ass DLC for Sea of Thieves. Avowed and Fable were announced 2 years ago and then radio silence. Halo is not the only Xbox IP suffering. Microsoft's solution to their first-party studios struggling is to just buy new ones. They want to have this monstrous catalog of games but aren't willing to put in the effort to ensure good games. Look at the competition. Sony and Nintendo still whoop Microsoft's ass despite having a fraction of their money. And that's probably a good thing because they were forced to learn exactly what they were doing. Over the years, Sony has slowly built up a great catalog of franchises. Other than Spider-Man, Sony was able to make these best-selling IPs out of nothing. Why do people care about God of War or Last of Us? Because they're good-ass games. Sony right now has so many top-of-the-line studios on a cycle to ensure big releases every year. And that's not luck. Now, I'm not saying that Microsoft makes their studios bad. Playground Games, for example, has been so consistent releasing high-quality Forza games over the years, and that's because the studio is so well managed with good leaders. The problem is Microsoft's lack of care or maybe lack of knowledge on helping studios. A good studio will most likely stay the same, but the same thing goes for a bad studio. Halo Infinite's development is one of the most embarrassing things I've seen, honestly. The game apparently had no creative vision for most of the development, and Chris Lee actually got away with lying to Bonnie Ross about how much was done with the game. It's actually amazing that the game even came out. And while it's absolutely Chris Lee and Bonnie Ross's fault, you also have to blame Microsoft for even allowing this to happen. Phil Spencer's always talking about how much he cares about gaming and gamers, but what do gamers like? Games. For a company who always talks about how much they love us and how much they care about our experience, they're absolutely insane at mismanaging our favorite franchises. Now, I hate to end the video on a negative note, so here is my faith in Halo's future. 343 is full of talented people who have been led by bad leaders, and yes, leaders are the most important part of a team. With Joe Staten taking creative control and Bonnie Ross being replaced, it looks a lot better for 343 now. Halo 7 has been heavily leaked and rumored to have been in development with Joe Staten, and that would explain the lack of content for Halo Infinite. And yes, I think that's a good thing because the game is essentially spaghetti code, and that's not the game that will hold the Halo franchise. Obviously, the damage is immense, and it will take a very long time for Halo to get back to its feet, but what can you do?
When you're spending the amount that we're spending, looking at the opportunity in gaming, this opportunity is really about mobile for us.